Hey guys, this is Chris Sanfilippo with MyGameIsOn.com. Today we have Kenny Faulk from East Cobb Baseball Organization. Kenny's actually field supervisor for the organization, and he also coaches kids from 11 through 18, also giving lessons. And today we're just going to kind of cover a little bit about Kenny's background and what type of impact he has had on kids, and we'll just take it from there. Kenny, thank you for being part of this today.
I appreciate it, man.
Awesome. So Kenny, give us a little bit of a background on yourself, where you kind of came up through the ranks, and so the viewers could kind of hear.
I grew up right here in Woodstock, right by East Cobb. Was a normal kid, played Hopgood, SCRA, all the way up through East Cobb. About the age of 14, though, kids started growing a little bit faster than me and put more time. They enjoyed the game more, where when I struggled, I just didn't want to play. And so, growing up, that was good, did good, made all-star teams. But all of a sudden, when kids passed me, I never knew how to take defeat or failure. So I didn't try as much. I spent times playing video games and walked away from the game. So, what I did is I wasn't good enough to play varsity till my senior year. So finally something clicked after seeing other kids that worked out and they had good mechanics, so I copied what they did. And by just working and trying to do what I could, I ended up making a varsity team. I ended up going from a guy in the paper was told he wouldn't even pitch much to being the ace. And had a great year, got an opportunity to go play junior college. Didn't have but one offer out of high school. So I took the only offer, a team that won 8 games, and I went to Andrew College for 2 years. We didn't have a pitching coach there either. It was, just guys that were paid to help come run practices. And 2 years there, I did learn what work was and drive, and it gave me an opportunity to go play at Kennesaw. After 2 years at Kennesaw, with great weight training and like I said, I was a walk-on too, and that's something I want you kids to understand is I took I had full rides to D2s, but my junior college coach, who I respect more than anything, he said, if I go D2, I'll never get better. I'll be complacent. He said, if I go Division I will be outworked, but I will work and I will outbeat everyone. And so I took an opportunity at Kennesaw to walk on. That summer I did nothing. I rode that I was a Division I signing for once in my life. And after doing nothing all summer, I had shoulder tendonitis. I was last in conditioning, last in shape. I didn't do what the other guys did. Went through a 4-year breakup. I think that's important because these are things I was dealing with. Oh, and I wasn't used to 150 people in my classroom. So the last thing Coach Sansing told me in the fall was you may pitch to one batter in the spring. So I hit bottom. And bottom for me was no friends, just everything falling apart. And the only thing that was stable and that I loved was baseball. And I never gave baseball 100%. I just rode that I could get by. Either do good, do bad. I was always in the middle. And I finally started dedicating. I drove to Macon to work with a pitching guy 3 times a week. So I drove an hour and a half every single morning and an hour and a half back 3 times a week because that's how hungry I was. I lifted twice a day. I did cardio in the morning and I worked out at night because I couldn't sleep and I was mad. So I didn't pitch till the 4th game of the season. You can look this up, 2008 spring. We were losing 12-0. That's the confidence they had in me. So 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. Next weekend, I was a setup guy. I went from nobody to somebody, but even then I was still mad. And this is important because it wasn't, hey, I'm happy I'm pitching. I was mad because I wanted to know why guys had scholarships and I didn't. I'm sitting there throwing 90, striking everyone out, but that was my drive. My drive for baseball and my work ethic never changed just because I got what I wanted, which was pitching. So I ended up finishing out the year, played next year, got drafted, and one of the biggest things we deal with is development. We'll go on to that more, but I never became a pitcher. I just wanted to throw hard. So when I got to pro ball, I struggled at first because I had never worked on a breaking ball, a changeup, how to hold runners, how to pitch with a purpose, how to set up guys. And I ended up having a very good career. Played 6.5 years, been to big league camp, 3-time ranked MLB prospect, been to the Arizona Fall League, 3-time All-Star, 1-time Post All-Star. I think I was 48 for 54 on save opportunities. So, but like I said, guys, I went from a guy that threw 78 as a senior in high school to 94. I went from a guy that didn't learn a slider till he was 24. And when I did learn one, I still dominated lefties with it. And I went from a guy that had no idea how to pitch. I just threw as hard as I could. And that's my background. I went from nothing to something. Everyone told me I couldn't. High school coach said I would never play college baseball. High school coach tried to take credit for it, and I let him have it because he did nothing for me. So if that's what you've experienced, is being told you're too fat, too slow, too whatever, same here. This body should not throw 95. I'm short, I'm a lineman, I should be a linebacker, but I threw up to 95 miles an hour and I strike people out. So if you're a kid that's hungry and tired of being told no, you should check on my profile.
Wow, Kenny, that's a great story. Kenny, in dealing with what you dealt with, how did you overcome a lot of, the obstacles?
You have to find that drive. So for me, it was always being told, my high school coach said in front of every kid, I wouldn't be able to play Ryan Harder. Being told I wouldn't be able to play Division I. And whatever it is that drives you, take that out in your workouts and your work ethic. So when you get tired, think of the one thing bothering you and use it. And I mean, if it's just you want to throw 95, then work your butt off. If it's an ex-girlfriend, or if it's a kid that signed to a school that you're better than, you think that you're better than that kid, use it as your drive. And that's what we never want to lose. And like I said, my drive at first at Kennesaw was to pitch. Then all of a sudden, when I was a guy, I was mad because I wasn't on scholarship. And I let every team know it. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Y'all just got beat by a walk-on closer. And like I said, that whatever it is in life, if it's failure, you're tired of sucking, or you're tired of not having the results you want, never lose that drive. Keep that hunger. That's why when you're hungry, things happen. And that's what you have to do, is you got to find your drive, and you got to work. And you got to work, and you got to outwork your competition if you want to be great. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big you are or how hard you throw. The guy that gets a hit, either 5'1" or 6'4", and has a high base percentage and an average, is the guy that's going to play. At the end of the day, at first, it don't matter how hard you throw. The guy that throws 3 pitches for strikes and keep guys off balance is going to be the guy pitching all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is pretty accurate, what you're sharing with us. What would you say for a player that is kind of rising through the ranks? What would you say that you see out there that is valuable to players, such as, let's go with 3 attributes that you would say an athlete needs to have?
You need to be coachable, and that's the biggest one, is listening. Trying things out. You do not want to be the same player you were last year. So a lot of times what I see on the weekends is kids pitching the same that they did the weekend before. Hey, nothing but fastballs, no slider. Another attribute I'd see is just your attitude. You got to understand, this is a game of failure, not a game of success. You go 1 for 3, you're getting $1 million a year. You go 2 for 3, shoot, you're getting a multi-million-dollar a year contract. So it's not an easy game. But if you have a great attitude, being a good teammate, and it's going to help you love the game. But so many times you see kids swing and miss, strike out, they throw their helmet, they're just bad attitude. No, man, you've got to grind. This is not an easy game. It's very rewarding when you get older, but you've got to grind. And like I said, so we got attitude, we've got being coachable. The third one I'd say is just, with attitude and being coachable, is just your, I guess you could say, worth ethic and just comprehension of the game. Is you've got to be willing to, I guess the word would, develop, try things out. And I know that could go into coachability, but I mean, listening to coaches is one thing, but you need to be able to try things out. Like, hey, all I do is throw fastballs. I need to throw something else. I need to throw a changeup and a slider because eventually someone will hit your fastball. If all you do is hit fastballs outside, if you're a hitter, well, eventually someone's going to throw you inside. And when you get older, they're going to know this. And so, I mean, like I said, that's just the way you got to, like I said, things I look for. Just because the kids that are coachable will always beat out the kids that have the athletic ability. It always works out that way. So.
Gotcha. Kenny, the dream I think of baseball players is to be able to make it to the bigs. What would you say in working with some colleges and universities? What would you say that these prospects need to focus in on?
Just focusing in, what do schools look for? I don't know why some look at the 60 time. It's important to them. Well, to me, if they can run and they got good reaction time and reads and they can get to a ball, that's great. But depending on the position, you got to have a fast 60 time because that to them means, hey, this guy's quick. Playing outfield, you got to have a good arm. You also got to be in good shape, no matter the position, because if you're healthy and in shape, that to them means, hey, this guy's taking it seriously. Your looks matter. Clean up the way you look, because at the end of the day, they want something that looks professional. But being athletically in shape, so you got to be in good cardiac, having running, all that jazz, you got to have it. Also got to have meat on your bones. And like I said, a lot of kids, if you look at the ones that work out a little bit, they usually have some pop, and they usually can throw harder than the kids that are just skinnier and all that. And what I mean by that, it's not a negative way of looking at it, but it's science. The more momentum, the bigger you are, the more the slope, you get more power, you get more whip, you throw harder. Same with hitting. If you look at all these guys hitting bombs, they're pretty thick and filled out. So the weight helps. It helps you throughout the long, how long the season is. It helps with that because it helps you recover. The more weight, you got more muscle, you got more mass. It just helps you become a better baseball player. But, schools, the biggest thing is grades as well. Need to have good grades, good SAT or ACT scores. That stuff matters, but the way you handle yourself on the field will help. You've got to, like we've talked about, be positive, pick people up, act like you want to be there, not just going through the motions. Play like it's your last game. That'll really help you. But, as far as what the schools are after, if you're a younger guy, I get some people sign early. Don't worry about what someone else is doing. Worry about what you're doing. That was my problem, my failure of my career. I was too worried about the other lefty in front of me. I was worried about lefties in high school. Man, he signed. Man, he only throws 4 miles an hour harder than me. Signed to UGA. I should have been worried what Kenny Faulk was doing. So in this process, don't worry about what other kids are signing, what they're doing. Worry about what you've got to do. My personal choice, is if you're a pitcher, I'd be long tossing, I'd be lifting legs for days. I'd be doing bands, rotator cuff exercises, do that for a year straight and you'll get some results. And same with hitting. You've got to get your hacks in. You guys, pitching's a lot easier because you just throw it, but hitting, you've got to be selective. You've got to work on everything. And, but like I said, work on those things and that'll help you stick out when college coaches come.
Gotcha. Wonderful. All right. Well, Kenny, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. And guys, look for Kenny on mygameison.com. You can interact with him. You could shoot him an email at kenny@mygameison.com if you have any questions or concerns. And good luck out there.